This race he goes back to England, and then in the new year he'll go to Japan to begin his stallion career.
Hopefully this is going to be a great swan song for him then.
Well, that would be very nice. It's a horse that deserves to go out on a win. He's been a marvellous consistency all year. He's run fantastically well in all his races. This will be his 10th Group 1 race this year, and it'd be marvellous to think that he could do it.
And it certainly seems as though he's very much on song for it then.
He definitely seems to be. He looks very well. He's very strong and he's very mentally alert. All the signs are as good as they've been all year for any race we're going into.
All we can do is keep our fingers crossed and say the very best of luck.
That's very kind of you. Thanks.
The old team reuniting today as well, with Frankie Dettori and Luca Kamani. Dettori starting his career with Luca in the 80s. And the last time that Frankie Dettori legged up on the FALBRAV, he was able to win the Japan Cup. Very fortunate as well that year the Japan Cup was run at the Nakayama racecourse with the renovations taking place in Tokyo, and the cup distance was altered back to 2,200 metres, which worked out to be a perfect distance given the narrow victory by FALBRAV on that occasion when he nosed out Sarafan. And Magneton, who's also engaged in the Hong Kong Cup here this afternoon, worked home brilliantly into fourth on that occasion. He's given a nice blowout on Friday morning. His work has been spot on, and FALBRAV is the short prize favourite for the Cup at 1.7, with the runners at the gates only 4 minutes away from a dispatch now. Rakti continues to tighten, coming down to 7.6, has plenty of experience on right-handed circuits, has won 5 of his 8 starts and goes into this winning very impressively in the Champion Stakes, Ratke, and given a tremendous chance to win this race today as well, given his low draw of barrier number 4. But from the paddock, Mark, you found it pretty hard to fault this favourite FALBRAV.
I found it very hard indeed. He appears to have kept his condition impeccably well. He's done absolutely everything asked of him all around the world. It doesn't appear as though there has been any sort of hiccups at all. He remains very relaxed, switched off. Lovely shot of him walking around there at the start. He's been like that the entire time he's been here in Hong Kong.
I guess that's the thing. People are looking for negatives in the respect that he has had a long, hard season. He's done the travelling. You're looking if there's going to be an edge for others elsewhere, but it's the way he's been able to enjoy himself this week.
I can't see it. I just can't see any negatives in him. He seems to have the right attitude. If a horse is going to travel the world, he's got to be of a specific type. There's no point in getting wound up about things. If he's not happy sleeping in a different box every other night, then he's not going to travel well. But this horse obviously doesn't have a care in the world. And what is more important than anything else is his attitude when he gets onto a racecourse. He knows where the winning line is. He's not afraid to battle for anything. I think he's going to be very hard to beat. Simple as that.
You have given Elegant Fashion some spectacular paddock reports through the majority of her season. I was very disappointed about her report today.
Yeah, she just looks like her coat has just started to go. But she looks good. She looks good, but she doesn't look as good to me as she has done. I thought at the start of this season she came in looking absolutely spectacular. It wasn't quite the same today. I'm as disappointed as you because I'm not saying it won't stop her. It certainly won't stop her winning, but you couldn't give her that same glowing report that I've been able to earlier on. Obviously, it's a little bit disappointing. You want to go in there and think, oh, she looks absolutely spot on, and yeah, I think we're in with a real good chance. If she gets beaten here today, I won't be totally surprised.
She really should be able to position up where Gerard Mosse really wants to be here from barrier 7. David Hayes seemed very happy with the draw.
Yeah, very happy. You know that you're going to have a bit of speed. The speed should be coming from Weightless, who's drawn nicely in gate 3. There won't be any problem for him getting across, getting to the rail. By all accounts, he's quite keen anyway. I imagine he's going to tow them along at a pretty reasonable gallop. If there's a negative side to her meaning Elegant Fashion, it's the fact that FALBRAV is drawn underneath her in 5, and he's going to be ridden very similarly, you would have thought. He's not going to be too far away from the speed himself.
Asian Preston chasing his 4th win in Hong Kong fared very poorly with this draw at gate 13. There was a lot of pressure on Yuichi Fukunaga following his defeat in the Cup last year on the race where they just dawdled all of the way. Many horses fired up. He was one of them. He pulled up with abrasions to both hind legs out of the race last season, but he's going to need the luck.
But nothing was getting home harder than him in that race last year, was it? I mean, give him another 50 yards. I think he'd have probably nearly won the race last year. He was only just getting into top gear when they'd already quickened away by the time they turned for home. He had a lot of racing to do. It's the only time we've seen him beaten here in Hong Kong. I think he comes in looking absolutely A1 again. Quite often he's unimpressive in the paddock. I think he looked as well today as he's ever looked. And of course, he's also another horse making his swan song. Not only have we got FALBRAV making his last start, every chance that Asian Preston will also be making his as well.
I believe that's also the case with Denon as well, the American runner, so quite a few in that category. Precision, all of the David Orton runners have run with extreme credit here today.
They've run brilliantly, absolutely brilliantly. You've had Roosevelt run an absolute blinder. You've had Cape of Good Hope run the race of his life. And you've just seen Bowman's Crossing probably put up his best ever effort. Pleased to say that Precision, a winner of last season, can't go very close again. I'm not that brave, but I don't think he looked quite as well as he did when winning last season.
Do you expect the 3-year-old weightless here, given his low draw, to make the running with his overall run style?
Absolutely. I'll be amazed if they don't decide to go forward with him and dictate things. And quite frankly, it could be the right place to be. If he's a horse who just settles in front and he's able to get a rest in, if Jerry Toulier is able to rate him accordingly, he could just be the improver that could upset their one or two calculations.
Okay, well, the runners are coming into line for the $18 million Hong Kong Cup. FALBRAV will jump the favourite at 1.7. They continue to back number 2, Ratke. He's going to jump at 6.7 as we take it to David for the call.
The final leg of the World Series about to be run, the Hong Kong Cup, an $18 million person. There's about 5 or 6 runners to load in. At the moment, the betting has 1.7, but I must say, as a purist, it's obviously your tickets where you raw, but there's a couple of fairy tales that could come true here. FALBRAV, great horse, 10 furlongs, outstanding. He won't be the World Series champion, but my word, what a great horse he is. It could be the greatest ending to a career with a victory here today. Asian Preston, a Hong Kong star. Elegant Fashion, Our Lady, possibly. And Rakti, the new champion, possibly, of next year. 3 runs this season, 2 wins at Group 1. We're set for a good duel yet again. We're spoiled here. Magna 10 about to move in. Most importantly, Rakti had stood up well when he was loaded first in the stalls. The Cup winner Precision is in from last year. Magna 10's in. They're all ready. Stand by for a start. And they're away in the Cup. Asian Preston, Blue Stitch fade back a bit. Away well, Weightless. Elegant Fashion lands there. Self-Flit and Dano Mast wants a forward spot. Denon's dropping back. FALBRAV getting in. Dr. Moore behind it. Magna 10 trying to drop in. Weightless leads. Dano Masters easing back, trying to get onto the back of the leader. He's going to. Self-Flit ends up outside him. Elegant Fashion travels in 4, gets off the rail. Magna 10 is caught 3 deep from Blue Stitch. Dr. Moore, FALBRAV travelling sweetly at the mile. In midfield, only 6 off the leaders. Denon's outside him. Bright Sky follows the favourite FALBRAV. Asian Preston off it, so they're set up within a few lengths of each other. Rakti underneath that group. Then Precision, and last of all, Tiger Tail. In front, Weightless, Self-Flit keen second. Danomas third. Magna 10 3 deep in 4. Elegant Fashion right there, 2 lengths to Nelly. Dr. Moore and Blue Stitch. FALBRAV offered at the 1200 from Denon. Bright Sky, Asian Preston. Rakti's improving on the inside, sneaking up the runners. He's been able to slide up midfield on the rail. Bright Sky shifted out a bit, so Rakti got right up underneath FALBRAV. Precision, and last of all, Tiger Tail. They're past halfway, 900 to go. Weightless from Self-Flit. Magna 10, 1 off the leaders, 3 deep. Danomas behind them from Elegant Fashion. Blue Stitch, Dr. Moore next. FALBRAV travels well. We wait and see. Rakti underneath him. Bright Sky follows them. Denon's gone. Asian Preston off it, followed by Precision. Tiger Tail off the bridle last. Still Weightless leads at the 600. It's had a good trip. Self-Flit moves closer. Elegant Fashion travels well. Magna 10, Danomas, Dr. Moore, Blue Stitch next. FALBRAV 4 off the leaders, starting to switch through. Rakti's at shadow. Bright Sky keeps it in. Rakti goes to the inside. The runs come. They're 4 off the leaders. Elegant Fashion, the lady, goes to Self-Flit. Now FALBRAV, Ratke come through. Dr. Moore, Blue Stitch, Bright Sky behind them. FALBRAV and Ratke wind up. This is what it's about. FALBRAV sprouts wings at the 150. Away goes a champion. 2 lengths in front. Rakti, Elegant Fashion for the minor. What a swan song. Say goodbye to a star. FALBRAV by 2 lengths to Rakti. Elegant Fashion third. Tiger Tail 4. A long break. Dr. Moore, Asian Preston couldn't come on. Next in Self-Flit, Tiger Tail, followed by Blue Stitch, Precision. Dropping back, Magna 10 also drifting back in the field. Weightless, Danomas, and Denon dropped out, one of the last horses. What a big moment. We know he's a star. He's outstanding at 2,000 metres or 10 furlong. The world watching, hoping he'd do it, and he has. Big margin. Rakti came with him. It was just set up perfectly. He travelled in midfield. Rakti slid up at the halfway mark. He was underneath him on the fence. They were together. There was to be no excuses for either one of them if they got a clear trip on the circle. They did. They got the runs together. FALBRAV showed the turn of foot to state him as a champion. and he sprinted away. Number 2, Rakti, was there, couldn't draw with him. And 13, Elegant Fashion, who had a forward sit, has run in third. Frankie Dettori, he is a star. He's a story in himself, but his weekend last year in Japan to take the Japan Cup dirt and the Japan Cup with this horse involved, he highlighted that as one of his greatest days racing. Well, surely he'd be absolutely thrilled and compare this to be a huge moment for him. He had tears of joy winning the Japan Cup on him last year. We mightn't see that here today, but wow, what a moment. An unbelievable day in Hong Kong. We had a champion sprinter come down the straight. We marked him as a champion. He stood up. We know this horse, FALBRAV, is great, and he's come through today with a fairy tale finish. If you played him in Hong Kong, he's paid 1.7 and 11.50. And I think Frankie summed it up perfectly. The picture tells the tale. Looked to the sky, said thank you. And FALBRAV was the horse that's come for him to win. 1, 2, 13, that's the judge's call. Number 1, FALBRAV, defeating 2, Rakti. Number 13, Elegant Fashion, third. Fourth in number 12, Bright Sky. Great form lines. The grand horses running 1, 2, 3, 4. The Quinata's paid $44.50 if you're betting, $180 for the Tierce and a trio of $72. They've run 2 minutes and 9/10, and he's going to get a grandstand.
Had to give them a huge start. Barrier number 13's done him no luxuries, David.
No, the ground he had to make up at the top of the straight was pretty big, but have a look at the shutter cam maybe later and see if he has actually made up any ground at all. I think when a horse in front of you, FALBRAV, sprints like that, it's almost impossible to catch them.
The talents of Christophe Soumillon came to the fore again with his brilliant ride on Dano Master. The Denmark horse simply not good enough here today, but from gate 11 he got straight over there on the back of the speed. There will be a very valuable piece of memorabilia for whoever's been able to scoop up those goggles here today.
It's almost a sublime return here for this horse, though. I thought they'd give him a roar, and now they do, only for the star jump. What about the performance? He came back to almost silence when he walked back down the straight.
What about Frankie on Wednesday night? Of course, gave everybody a minor scare when he had to bail out of the horse that broke down underneath him, Champion Speed, twisting his ankle. He was taken to hospital for precautionary x-rays, but fortunately everything was quite okay. In fact, Frankie was quite keen to continue riding.
The quote of the morning we both heard the other day. They jumped on him, the ambulance attendants, and said, "Don't move, we take you to hospital."
On the stretcher.
Just sprayed the ankle. Rakti, I thought, had a great trip as well, Darren. I mean, Philip did absolutely nothing wrong, and he's just been beaten by a champion racehorse today, and the way he snuck up the fence down the back straight and got underneath Bright Sky and then landed up next to FALBRAV, I thought, well, at the halfway mark, it couldn't work any better. It was actually just exactly what you wanted. They slit themselves into a spot. The two horses we were looking at, the run 1-2, I suppose Ash and Preston was the other one, but the two European horses, they were in the spot together at the halfway mark, and it was just a matter today of who the best horse was. And there is no doubt who the best horse was. It was this bloke, FALBRAV, by a mile.
When you read the honour roll in years to come, this will be the Hong Kong Cup where they'll say, yes, the best horse won it. The up-and-coming 4-year-old Rakti ran such a great race. And the Hong Kong mare, Elegant Fashion, did her best. Just not good enough to beat the world's best, but certainly she's done what we expected out of her. And Bright Sky, the filly, running such a tremendous race as well. Self-Flit, he had to be used up from his wider draw of barrier number 12, just couldn't get the cover that he would have been looking for. Magneton seemed to be posted in the run as well. Of course, he drew gate 14. He's had to do a fair amount of chasing from the wider position to Magneton. In contrast to Dano Master, really did enjoy the run of the race, but it was a different situation this year. Dano Master sat on the back of a very slow tempo and was advantaged that day. With the more genuine nature of the race today, Dano Master wasn't quite up to the task.
And you can't help but think at 7 years of age, it's not getting any easier for him, especially when he measures up to a horse like this.
Frankie Dettori in the weigh-in room on the winner, FALBRAV. He's a tremendous advertisement for horse racing, Frankie. He is a star.
Drink time.
And another.
Got to get the hair right.
Yes. presentation will be coming up in a few minutes from now, and the presentations of the World Series Awards as well. Of course, High Chaparral, regardless of the result of the Hong Kong Cup here today, High Chaparral, the World Series champion for 2003, and the other presentations will take place as well. It's the wave of the whip there over the concluding stages from Frankie on FALBRAV, who had it one a long way from home. The acceleration, the way he picked that mare up in about 2 or 3 strides. The finish of Rakti as well into second position. A great cup, a memorable one. 2 minutes and 9/10 the time. The record was set by Jim and Tonic when he won the QE2 Cup back in 1999 at 2 minutes and 1/10. So in effect, they're only 8/10 outside a 5-year-old course record here this afternoon. The photo session coming up. They do vary the colours as well on this horse, David FALBRAV, between his European and his Asian commitments.
Yes, of course, the horse recently purchased and running in the Yoshida colours, and the connection of the horses holding the name, or the ownership of the horse here in Hong Kong. So the famous colours of the Yoshida family. Shanghai colours as well, the yellow and black stripes and the black armbands. This one carrying the Yoshida colours with the red sleeves and the red cap. It's actually been a huge story in the breeding barn as well, the transactions that have taken place this year and the last part of the year anyway, because Simboldi Chris S was purchased for a huge price in Japan earlier this year, and if he was able to win the Japan Cup and also win the Arima Kinnon, which is the last Group 1 race of the year, I believe this year, there was an extra bonus for him. So once again, the Japanese are picking up some very good study and some great racehorses, and FALBRAV is just another one that's going to stand in that part of the world. And they are looking for their new star, with Sunday Silence unfortunately lost. If FALBRAV can measure up to that, well, for breeders, I hope yes, but to me, this day will live in memory. The turn of foot that he showed, he just chewed up and spat out an outstanding field and made it look as though it was not a Group 1 race, but just a normal race.
Weight signals on the board, by the way. Correct weight on 1, 2 and 13. And then you look at some of his defeats. Now, he's won 4 of his last 7, but coming out of the Eclipse Stakes, he's running the King George Stakes that day at Ascot on that course, when I have to say I was rather surprised just how wide he coursed all of the way. He covered so much extra ground on that occasion.
Well, that's the other point. People will talk forever about the performances where he's been defeated. The international, I should say the Irish Champion Stakes, when he tried to go up the inside, and the King George, they'd done it in previous years. They'd come to the outside, but he was the sole horse to do it all the way around Swindley Bottom, and then by the time he finally got over closer to the leaders, all the hard work had been done by him, and Alan Shah had the cheap trip.
I guess it was surprising that they stayed wide, but they didn't opt to cut the corners in that race.
Yeah, we could talk about it forever. It's all water under the bridge now, isn't it?
And boy, that was a great race, run by him in the Breeders' Cup as well.
The 2,400 metres of that hill course as well, that had to be a huge issue for him. And it is incredible to think some of the moments that this horse has been in. Some on the racetrack are so memorable, and in the Breeders' Cup, the dead heat there with him and, I should say, with High Chaparral and Johar, and the clash in the Irish Champion with High Chaparral. He is one of our champions that when he is gone, we will continue to talk about not just his wins, but all of the drama around him as well. Great scenes down in the yard also. It's reminiscent of Stay Gold to some extent.
Yes.
Last start, wins the big one.
Stay Gold really had to dig in deep that day, didn't he? That was a spectacular finish on that occasion.
We've been quite blessed here. Hong Kong, it's got a great day in December, and also our Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup Day is outstanding. But some of the moments that we've had on this stage in front of us in the last 5 years, Darren, have been unforgettable. Just like this one, with FALBRAV having his last start before going to stud. Rakti was duelled as a horse that might beat him. Asian Preston was trying to win in Hong Kong again. Frankie parked in midfield. He showed an amazing turn of foot at the 300-metre mark. We knew him as a great horse. Today he goes down with a fairy tale finish. His last starter winner in the Hong Kong Cup. Presentation time for the Hong Kong Cup of 2003.
Ladies and gentlemen, the trophy presentation of the Hong Kong Cup.
香港杯頒獎儀式現在開始。
各位馬迷，香港杯亦都係世界錦標巡迴賽最後一站嘅盟主已經誕生咗啦，就係嚟自英國嘅飛霸。首先，我哋有請財政司司長兼香港賽馬會名譽董事韓英年先生為我哋頒發獎杯，俾勝出頭馬嘅飛霸馬主。
We'd now like to invite the Financial Secretary of Hong Kong Special Administrative Region, the Honourable Henry Chung, and the Honorary Steward of the Club to present the Hong Kong Cup to the winning owners, Mr. Yoshida and Scuderi Rankati.
跟住我哋再請唐英年司長將駿馬銅像分別頒贈俾勝出頭馬飛霸嘅馬主練馬師古曼尼同騎師戴圖利。
We'd now like to invite the Financial Secretary, Mr. Chung, to present the bronze horse statuette to the winning owners, Mr. Yoshida and Scuderia Rankati, trainer Luca Kumani, and jockey Frankie Dettori.
我哋會頒發世界錦標巡迴賽尾站嘅獎杯，有請世界錦標巡迴賽主辦委員會副主席 Lord Hartington 為我哋將世界錦標巡迴賽嘅獎杯頒發俾勝出頭馬嘅馬主飛霸。
Well, of course, this was the last leg of the World Series Racing Championship. We would now like to invite the Deputy Chairman of the World Series Racing Championship, Lord Hartington, to present the World Series Racing Championship trophy to the winning owners, Mr. Yoshida and the Scuderia Rankati. FALBRAV, a truly wonderful winner of this, the last leg, the Hong Kong Cup.
而家由警察樂隊演奏勝出頭馬所代表嘅國家英國嘅國歌，請各位起立。
Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the national anthem of the winning country of the United Kingdom.